We're going to talk more about New Hampshire now with France 24's Doug Herbert, who joins me on set. Doug, the first primary, a one-on-one contest, Nikki Haley, Donald Trump. Is this going to be the last day we're going to be talking about Nikki Haley as a candidate?
Yeah, I don't think we should let Dixville Notch determine our political prognostication here, Jeannie. Look, the question is whether it's tomorrow or in 3 days or in a week or in a month's time, will we all be saying Nikki Haley who? Will she be, past history, long forgotten? And the likely answer to that question is yes. Look, Donald Trump is all but certainly on that proverbial glide path to the Republican Party nomination. He and his allies have basically, their whole strategy is to wrap this nomination up as quickly as they can. And at the rate they're going, they probably think they can do it by Super Tuesday, which is March 5th. That's when you have 14 states voting, including the heavyweights, Texas and California. The fact of the matter is, Nikki Haley, you heard her there. She's trying belatedly to pull out all stops, to draw in these undeclared, these unregistered voters, because what sets New Hampshire apart, which makes it distinct from Iowa, apart from the fact that it has more moderate voters, more educated college degree voters, is you are allowed to vote. All you have to be to vote in the New Hampshire primary is a registered voter. You do not have to be registered as a Democrat or a Republican or aligned with any party. So these so-called sort of independent, these undeclared voters, Nikki Haley is hoping to attract her. She does have relatively good showing in the polls among these voters. The problem is it's far from enough to narrow that gap, which is right now in the double digits. One poll had her going into this primary trailing by about 18 points. I think 52% for Trump, 34 for her. Some even have her further behind in the 20s. Whatever happens, it's likely that Donald Trump is going to pull out a pretty sizable double-digit victory. This is, like I said, the glide path that he has been banking on. And it just is sort of a metaphor for his dominance in the party. Nikki Haley has what she wanted. She has that finally one-on-one contest with the front runner, Donald Trump. But it's not going to last long. And really already the party, most of the Republican leadership has rallied behind Trump as the inevitable sort of nominee for the party. So a lot of people, even who never have heard her name until now, they have one day perhaps to catch up and get to know her before if she's here today, gone tomorrow, almost literally.
Right, Doug. So you're not the first to have said Trump is the inevitable nominee.
Yeah.
Many people seem to think that's the case. The big fly in the ointment, though, is what about all the court cases? Could that stop Trump?
Well, if you're Trump and his allies, they say not only won't it stop him, they'll help him. Let's look quickly at that calendar. Trump, according to a lot of political pundits, is literally using his trials as a political strategy, right? They're not a liability, they're a strategy. How? He's used them to shore up support among the Republican Party, to present himself in a posture of what some have called relentless victimhood, and to call it the politically motivated Joe Biden witch hunt against him. He's the victim. These cases are all unjust, all politically motivated. You see them there. Thing is, I said for now in that headline because these are tentative dates, right? The big one is that federal election case, charging with overturning the results of the 2020 election. It's supposed to be on March 4th. It's on hold. Why? Because Trump and his lawyers, right, basically have it on hold in appeals because they are claiming they should have legal immunity from prosecution because Trump was serving as president. So this whole immunity thing is holding that trial up. And a lot of the timing of that early trial, right, could determine whether the other trials, when and if they happen. Florida, this Mar-a-Lago classified documents case that Trump, took these classified documents with him and then refused to give them back to the government. That could be May or not. Georgia, the elections case, charges interfering to overturn the results of the Georgia election, calling up and bullying, intimidating of Georgia election officials. August 5th, that's way down the road. That's after the Republican convention in mid-July. And the Supreme Court, I'll just mention, also has some weighing in to do here. Most notably on February 8th, they're set to hear these oral arguments on whether or not Trump should be struck from the Colorado ballot, and that could determine the outcome of a lot of cases, pending cases in dozens of states, which challenges whether Trump should be on the ballot there. The thing is, the Supreme Court is a 6-3 majority, 6 conservatives, 3 liberals or centrists, and 3 of those conservatives were appointed by Donald Trump. Who's to say how they'll rule? But very few people, legal experts, think the Supreme Court is going to allow Donald Trump to be struck from the ballot in Colorado, which could pave the way for other things. So that legal jeopardy, not much. I want to show you one last chart to leave you with. Okay, so you say to me, but Doug, But Doug, still, what if he's convicted of a crime in one or any of those trials? Well, first of all, like I said, Donald Trump and his team are hoping to make sure that none of those trials get underway in earnest, let alone return a verdict in time to really make a difference politically for him. So in the primary, it looks like he's on that glide path to nomination. If these trials are going to make a dent, it's going to be in the general election. But look at that question there. This was Iowa entrance polls conducted by Edison Research, 8 days ago on January 15th. If Donald Trump were to be convicted of a crime, would you consider him fit to be president? 65%, 2/3 of Republicans say absolutely, even if he were convicted of trying to overturn the election. Only 31%, a third, and this is perhaps where some of the people see a potential red light for Trump in the general election. Would those third of Republicans who say he wouldn't be fit, are they ready to defect? Could that doom his chances in a general election against Joe Biden, even a weakened Joe Biden? That is the big question. It's unanswerable at this hour. But I will say this, I will go out on a limb. If it's going to have any effect, it would be in the general election, not in the primary race.